Welcome to Knicksfandom. This is an independent New York Knicks fan-based podcast, which was created by fans for fans. The show is hosted by LA Blackwell, Danny, and Flau. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the Knicks, the NBA, and various other sports-related topics. Join us. It's going to be a heck of a ride.
Sometimes I rhyme slow, sometimes I rhyme quick. This is episode 21 of our podcast known as Knicksfandom. Hey, listeners, I'm very glad to be back with another provocative episode. As usual, I'm your host, LA Blackwell. Hope you're doing great. How's everything out there? Starting with you, Flo. How's everything out there?
LA, I'm very good today, man. How you doing today?
I'm good as always, man. How about you, Danny D? How's everything with you?
I'm good, LA. I'm good. Just another day. The slogan that we say. What's up, man?
That's right. That's how we do. Knicksfandom, man. Springtime, fellas. It's starting to get a little warmer out here. How's everything with that with y'all?
It's a beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing.
Definitely. We on the East Coast over here, so definitely trying to see it warmed up. And just randomly, I just saw that UCLA game versus Kentucky the other day, and I saw Kentucky won that game 86-75. And he had a couple of early draft picks in that game with Lonzo Ball, De'Aaron Fox, and Malik Monk. Any thoughts on that game? Any prospects that stand in your mind watching that game if any of y'all caught that?
D, you want to go first?
Oh, yeah, man. You know, the boys that went out there to play with him, man, that Flo Bear. My man Flo's favorite man is DeAndre Fox. Man, DeAndre went to work out there, Flo. DeAndre went out there. He went to work. Lonzo who?
Hey, don't say that for his pops, man. You know, he don't like that, you know? He came up a little small in that game, though, man. 3 points, 8 assists, 10 points. 3 boards, 8 assists, and 10 points.
Exposed.
Yeah, somewhat. I don't think he was trying that hard, though, to be honest with you. I think he was just trying not to get hurt, man. I think, this is big time right there with this lottery. But, the other guys, Fox and what's the name, Monk, was definitely putting on a show.
They went to work. Yeah, them boys are playing out there. They can play. Those are two dynamic guards. Lonzo can play too. But it's just you can see the competition. It's time to step up when it's prime time. It's no time to not to get hurt. You playing. If you competitive, you play whoever you play.
That's true.
This is the team that you're supposed to play. If you have the instinct and things like that, if like you said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. That's what Ric Flair told me.
Woo! Yeah, them guys definitely stepped up, man. Fox, in case some of my listeners didn't see that, he put up 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 21 points. And not Fox, that was Monk. And Fox dropped 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 39 points. So he definitely put on the show. And the thing I'll just look at for the next level. He's fast, man. He got the fast switch fibers, just cut and stop. A lot of that inside little teardrop shots he was doing too. So, I'll definitely look at it. I can see it in a Knick uniform, maybe. Never know. But, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Anything else y'all saw that just stood out there off the offhand? If not, we'll just go ahead to our next segment. Go ahead, Flo.
LA, I don't know if you heard, but I heard during halftime that Lonzo Ball tweeted that this was his last collegiate game during the halftime of this game.
Yeah, I think I did hear something about that. That's what I'm saying. I feel like he really wasn't taking it that serious, which is, there's different ways to look at it. People trying to protect their investment, make sure they don't get hurt. But also, like Danny said, you got to make sure on a big stage, that's where a lot of people make their bones, man. People still talk about that North Carolina shot from Michael Jordan, So, and also Christian Laettner and everything like that. So, that team was a little outclassed to me, and I wanted to see him do a little bit more than he did. But, I don't think it's going to hurt him draft status-wise too much. I still think he's going to go top 3, maybe top 2 the way it looks right now, depending on where they go if these picks don't get traded or anything of that nature. But that's the only thing I heard about that. Anything else you guys say about that, Danny D?
No, just talk about that, and also the interview Lonzo Ball had after. He said he want to thank everybody because that's his last year. He's done that shit. Had an interview, put it very frankly that this is his last year. Thank everybody, but he's going to the draft.
Hey, can't blame him, man. Can't blame him in this day and age. A lot of money you leaving out there by staying, and especially gonna be a lottery pick. So I understand. All right, fellas. Appreciate that. That's just a little something for our listeners, a little off the cuff, little sporadic type thing. But we'll go to our first segment for the day, which is Tip Off. As usual, this is a short segment where we each usually pick one personal topic that we've been thinking about and like discussing the group format. Topic may pertain to any type of NBA or sports-related topic that we may find interesting, and in turn, hopefully, you, the listener, will also find interesting. Start off us this week, Flo. You got anything to discuss regarding our tip-off segment?
LA, yes, I do. There was an article written by Marc Berman of the New York Post a couple of hours ago, where he stated that Phil Jackson fell in love with Joakim Noah, that he didn't even bother to reach out to his former player who's playing for the San Antonio Spurs, Pau Gasol. Guys, what do you think with Gasol receiving a 2-year contract worth $30 million, where he could have served as a mentor to Billy Hernangomez and to Porzingis, as opposed to Phil going after Joakim Noah and giving him max money and 4 years?
Thank you, Flo. Just offhand, that's not doing your due diligence, man. I mean, if you're not trying to, which I find that kind of hard to believe on some level since he did coach him. But to me, I thought that'd be a good fit at that time, even though you're not really, I mean, you bought a team together you thought was going to really contend for the playoff position. I don't know why you wouldn't want a guy like Gasol there. But how about you, Daddy D? What you think about that overall?
Man, listen, I always wanted Paul to come to New York. I wanted Paul before he went to Chicago. When he left the Lakers, I thought the New York, because Paul can ball, man. Even though on the aspect of defensive out, not rebounding, but he still can block shots, get down in the paint, and score buckets outside the box. I always wanted Pau Gasol to come. For the Joakim Noah, I guess he thought Noah was probably younger. He thought he was going to get more defense, but look at that. Look what happened now.
Exactly. We're going to get into more detail with that during the weekly roundup as well, listeners. What do you think about that, Flo, overall?
Yeah, Phil, once again, dropping the ball. This is the reason why I call him the $60 million intern. You have a former player that's familiar with the triangle. You also have two young studs in Hernangomez and Porzingis that needs to be developed properly. They need a good mentor. The best mentor, honestly, would have been Gasol as opposed to Vujacic. Vujacic is a guard. Both guys you have on your team are big men. Who better to learn about the NBA game from a former big man, from a big man that has rings and Pau Gasol. Regardless, Pau Gasol is a little bit older than Noah. Still, all from a short-term deal. 1 year deal, 2 year deal, like the Spurs did. 2 years, $30 million. You could have gotten Gasol for 2 years for maybe that same amount, $30 million or maybe $25 million. Would have been a better bargain as opposed to what you're paying with Noah, and Noah's still stuck on your books for 3 more years. Not a smart move, my Phil, whatsoever. Not a smart move.
Yeah, I concur. If that's the case, and I'm hoping it wasn't, but just going by the report that you stated, you definitely dropped the ball because you had the same thing. You could have got the same mentorship out of Gasol and, like you said, for cheaper. So, to me, it was a lose-lose looking at it from that perspective. But, what can we do at this point? Thank you there, Flo. How about you there, D? You got any topic for tip-off segment?
A tip-off segment I'm about to talk about what Flo was talking about also. We're talking about Phil Jackson once again.
He getting it from both sides today, people.
We're getting it both sides, man. What you call him, Flo? He's the what kind of intern? How many million intern?
The $60 million intern.
$6 million intern, right? So according to the New York Post, that we had a big game right there in Madison Square Garden, right? In the Eastern Finals right there for the NCAA. You got the Kentucky UCLA showdown going down. And, or somebody could be up for the Memphis for the NCAA to see what's going down. You would Magic Johnson was there as DeAndre Fox was scoring 39. Magic was out there watching them get busy. Where in the world was Phil Jackson? Well, Phil Jackson was in Los Angeles at the Staples Center on Friday honoring Shaquille O'Neal statue. I just want to know how y'all guys feel about that. Steve Mills was out there recruiting, and Magic Johnson's recruiting. Steve Mills is the Knicks general manager. But Phil was out there in Los Angeles looking at the statue for Shaquille O'Neal. I want to know how y'all guys feel about that.
I'm gonna let you go first, Flo. I know how you feel about your man Phil. I just add on that a little bit at the end. I think it's gonna be pretty similar though. Go ahead, Flo.
Once again, Phil Jackson dropping the ball as usual. A rookie president of basketball operations, the $60 million intern. Once again, awful job. You have an opportunity to scout two of the best point guards in college basketball. You go to Memphis and you scout those ball players. You do not go and see Shaquille O'Neal. There's a conversation should go like this when you're on the phone with Shaquille when he's asking you to invite you to this ceremony. You go like this. Hey, Shaq, I would love to come. But you know what? I'm stinking up the joint as president of basketball operations for the Knicks. I'm on the being fired. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go scout these 2 point guards in Memphis. I love to be there, but I can't be there. But I'll send you a video message. All right? Take care of yourself, Shaq. Love you. That's what should have been said.
The big Aristotle, man. You should have seen it coming anyway. I don't see why you're doing all that at this point, man. I mean, didn't he have his jersey retired and everything? I mean, for everything you're going to go back and forth for? I don't know. Your check is with the Knicks right now. So to me, I feel that's where your loyalty should be at this point. But what you think about Danny D?
Yeah, like Shaq ain't giving you no paycheck, Phil. We paying you. I don't give about no damn statue. That don't make no sense. Yo, Shaq cutting your check. James Dolan's cutting you a check to do your job.
But then he'll say, "Oh, I got Mills there. You know, he's watching there. He's one of my trusted
Phil,
people.
Phil,
I'm delegating. You know,
no. You know what it is. Look, Mills need to be there, and you need to be there, so Mills can check them, make sure you watching the same game. Because Phil do something else, sign somebody else, so Mills can make sure that Phil's supposed to be doing his job. They both need to be there.
That's true. And you also had Monk that was there. You know, you got 3 legitimate lottery picks are in there. Consider where the Knicks could go anywhere from right now, like from 3 anywhere to 5 or 6. So I don't really see the purpose of that. It's like you got to prioritize at this point. I mean, as you know, as Flo's always said, the guys are getting paid a ton of money, and we haven't really seen the results that you wanted to. And like to me, I wouldn't even feel comfortable doing that. You know, not at this point. I would feel like I owe more to the organization than Mr. Dolan at this point. What can we say, man? This is Phil Jackson right now. This is a regime we under. Thank you there, Danny D. Appreciate that. And for my topic for tip off, it's basically going, one of the older veterans we had, one of the former franchise faces of the New York Knicks, and Patrick Ewing. And he was recently in an article by Frank Gasol of the Daily News. And he basically stated in the article, past time is now, And it basically revolving around the potential job that just opened up with Georgetown University. And, they were saying that Pat deserves a chance to add it. And I pretty much agree for the most part, And I'll just go over some of the key points in the article. Basically, Pat been looking for this chance for like the last 15 years or so. Hasn't really got a sniff at with the New York Knicks, which is a whole nother topic we went into before previously, which is, an abomination in itself. But in any case, former coach Jeff Van Gundy said, there's no doubt in my mind that he can be an outstanding head coach, as well as Marc Jackson, one of the former point guards for Patrick Ewing. And he said that he's a perfect guy for the job. He put in a lot of time coaching in the league, and, he deserved a chance, basically. That's what they're saying. And Patrick basically been in an apprenticeship during the last 15 years or so. He started with the Doug Collins and the Wizards, as we all know. He also was under Jeff Van Gundy with Houston, and as well as with Dwight Howard and the Magic. And now he's basically with Clifford and I believe in Charlotte. So right now, I just think he basically deserves a chance. And one thing that Van Gundy said stood out also was no top 50 player of all time has ever put in so much into a second act as Patrick Ewing has. So I just want to think what you fellas think overall regarding this topic. Starting with you, Flo.
Well, I'm hearing rumblings that he should be interviewing for the Georgetown head coaching position, his alma mater. If I'm Patrick Ewing, you turn that down. You wait for your chance in the NBA. Don't take this job just because no one's offered you a job. My understanding last year, he was a finalist for the Memphis Grizzlies head coaching job before it was given to David Fizdale. So if I'm Ewing, sit tight, coach out the rest of the season as assistant coach with Charlotte. Let the season play itself out, and just keep going on more NBA head coaching interviews. Don't go to the collegiate rank. Don't bother. Stay in the NBA level. Your time will come. Be patient. Your time will come.
Very interesting take. Okay, Flo. How about you, Danny D? What you think about that? Thank you, Flo.
I can see what Flo is going on. It's like a 50-50 with me, only because I'm saying because once you go to Georgetown and you're labeled as a college scout, I think that's it. Once he becomes a college coach, I don't think he's ever going to get a chance to become an NBA coach. And then also you're going to Georgetown right now, and it's not the Georgetown it was before. You know, it took them years to get rid of John Thompson III to get rid of him, and he wasn't doing well. But then also they had a talk. I forgot what show it was. I don't know if it was Peter Wurtzberg, it was on ESPN, and they were talking about how come Patrick Ewing has to become an NBA coach. Maybe because he isn't that good. This is what they're saying. Maybe he isn't that good. Maybe he's an assistant all these years and stuff like that. For me, I thought he was getting blackballed because they said, "Oh, he's a big man coach. He's not good enough," and things like that. What's the reason? He should have had an NBA job. I was like, it takes time, and sometimes you have to have the right connection, things like that. So they say, "Oh, how come Mike didn't give him a job?" Just because I know somebody and things like that, I don't think you should give me a job. I have to earn it, and that's what happens in real life.
Okay, thank you, D. I hear where both of you coming from, and I agree on some level. And I did hear some of the same thing you talking about, D, on some reports. I heard something like he don't interview very well on some level with some of the coaches like that.
That's what they were saying. They were saying like he didn't do well, like a set part. He wasn't doing well. It was one part. Interview well. It was a second part he wasn't doing good at.
But I'm just wondering, what is Herb Williams saying? I mean, the Pat Ewing ain't been there 15 years. And Herb Williams stayed with getting a check. He even became head coach at one time for the Knicks. And he ain't never been a franchise player of the Knicks. Pat Ewing's the second best player probably the Knicks ever had. You know?
Yes, it was.
After some people say, Walt Frazier or something of that nature. But to me, I feel like it's been 15 years, people still ain't give you a true shot at it. And I feel like with some of these horrible coaches we done seen who've been incompetent, I think he should have got a shot at least with one of these type of teams. If it was me, I'm more leaning toward taking that chance at not Golden State, at Georgetown. I walk in there like the Rock, man, and just like finally, I've come back home. That's it. I'm walking in there, man. Because if you went on there, you could do just like they did with the Thunder, the coach they have right now. He became Donovan? He became a big time coach over there with Florida. Coach. Exactly. So until you get a chance, everybody gonna keep saying this. So. Take your chance at Georgetown. Come back home. Get the love, man. You know everybody that's out there. You got the connection from John Thompson and son. So go out there, see what you can do. Become the head coach yourself. Get some of that experience. Like you said, Danny D, nobody expecting you to win right away. This ain't the Georgetown we know that. So you can break your you can just get your things going, break your bread over there, get used to it, and then build from there. Hopefully you do well in the next 2-3 years. Then they can't say you don't have no head coaching experience and come back to NBA just like Donovan did and do it the type of way. A lot of coaches done did that before. So I'll be tired of sniffing around as a 50 greatest players they said in the article and still ain't get a shot at a head coaching job after about 15 years. That's ridiculous, man.
I got you.
So that's what I would do.
I got you. Ain't that right, Derek Fisher?
Exactly. Kurt Rambis had a head coach job. Come on. Over Pat? Mm-hmm. Come on. That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. But, thank you, fellas. Appreciate that. That was our tip-off segment. And listeners, that leads us right into our next segment, which is known as the weekly Knicks Roundup. And basically, I'm just going to do a quick overview since our last podcast. Since our last podcast, the Knicks played on March 20th a away game against the Clippers, which they lost 114-105. They had another away game on March 22nd against the Jazz, which they lost 108-101. They also had an away game against the Blazers, which they lost 110-95, and an away game against the Spurs on March 25th, which they lost 106-98. Then this game would be a home game on Monday, the 27th, against the Pistons. Basically, since our last podcast, they went 0-4. The Knicks record now stands a total of 27 up, 46 down, 16-18 at home, and 11-28 on the road. No longer talking about the Knicks and playoff prospects. That's done. That's over with. So we're looking at the NBA draft, fellas. And right now, on a big up and up, they fourth place potentially in the upcoming NBA draft if it goes that way lottery-wise. And also another issue that came up in Knicks news, center Joakim Noah, who we talked about a little bit previously, is presently out with an injured knee and will receive a 20-game suspension from the NBA for violating the league's anti-drug policy, a source told ESPN Marc Spears, confirming news that they first reported by The Vertical. Noah tested positive for an over-the-counter supplement that is banned under the NBA's current collective bargaining agreement. But a source told Spears that Noah would not have been penalized under the league's new CBA agreement that is set to begin next season. You can't make this stuff up, people. Noah has been a bust since the signing, since he got here. Flo, thus far you have been on point with this. We're not going to go to everything with these last few games. Knicks are definitely in full tank. I'm happy about that. They 0-4. Beautiful job, Knicks. Keep it up. And just start with you, Flo. Anything stand out over these last previous games, player-wise, Pacific-wise, game-wise? You go right into that.
Well, LA, here's the problem with this. I don't understand with Jeff Hornacek's rotation. He had Hernan Gomez off the bench, I believe, in the Clipper game. Then he started him the other games. You know, Kaminsky started one game and he's off the bench. I don't understand what's going on. I want to see these guys play the ball. And what you're noticing now, since he put Hernan Gomez back in the starting lineup, he got busy, you know. In regards to the Spurs game, he was going at his mentor, Pau Gasol. He had 24 points and 13 rebounds starting. Kaminsky had 19 points starting. Courtney Lee, once again, 6 points. Even though he had 7 assists and 8 rebounds, but 6 points. And Derrick Rose, full attack mode, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
Yes, sir.
In the Utah Jazz game, you know, the Knicks led for 3 quarters before they self-destructed. Overall, like I said, gentlemen, we just want to see more of these youngsters. I want to see more Kaminsky, more Hernan Gomez. Right now, for what I'm seeing from Baker, he needs a year in the D-League right now, based on what I'm seeing. He's getting sporadic minutes here and there. Same thing with Randall. I understand Derrick Rose is auditioning, you know, for his next contract, but we're not going nowhere. They should think about monitoring his minutes. I have no problem with Rose starting, but I think the bulk of the minutes should go with Chas and Randall.
Okay.
No, I hear where you're coming from, Flo. Definitely agree with some of the points. Danny D, anything you want to add to that? Thank you, Flo.
Like you said, listen, Courtney Lee shouldn't be getting 40 minutes. Derrick Rose shouldn't be getting 36 minutes. You audition when we want you to audition because we're paying you. You're sitting on the bench. We were putting in Marcus Plumlee, Jason Randall, and Marcus Noder, and let these dudes play, and let Ron Baker play, and let them play out. No more minutes for Courtney Lee, no more minutes for Derrick Rose. We're trying to tank. There's no need. Y'all might as well get a do not play, did not play, just suit up because we got to let these guys play to gelling for next year. We're on a different mission right now. I know you want to audition and try to get a big paycheck, but you won't be doing it on our watch.
Thank you, Danny D. I definitely agree with a lot of points you made as well. You know, y'all basically stated what it is at this time, and they're doing what you wanted to, Flo, as we talked about previously. All of a sudden, Melo's been hurt. He's been sitting out a couple games, and really cut back his minutes is the main thing. And it's like you said, you want to see what KP, Hernan Gomez, and bench are. If they're going to be here next year, basically. Talking about like Baker. I totally agree with you there, Flo. Right now, he does look like he need to go to D-League. His shot is, some days is good, some days is off. It's like, he just doesn't look ready. He doesn't look prepared out there like I thought he'd be once he got a little more minutes. He's getting a little exposed right now. And the main 3 things I think you're looking at is watching for talent overall, just seeing who has the talent to be here. Basically, who can play in the triangle. If Phil's here, you got to look at players that can play in that, as much as I dislike that. And basically, who will be back overall this signing-wise. Rose is doing well, but it's still losing. And not to say it's his fault, but at this point, I just think he's trying to prove he's healthy for the next team. Whether it's Tom Thibodeau in Minnesota or what have you, or Milwaukee, like I heard, I just don't see him back here with the Knicks. I don't think that's what you need at this point. I think you're more than 2-3 years away. So it doesn't make sense to pay him $100 million if you're not going to be contending to me. And the main thing I'm looking at also is just how Hernan Gomez plays at the starter with Porzingis. I still don't like them out there both at the same time. I really don't. I think they still got fouls issue. Even that game, Hernan Gomez had like 5 fouls in that game. He played well. He was dominating offensive-wise, but defensive-wise, he's still having issues with that. I still don't like Porzingis out there, power forward. I think I know it's a lot of time he getting exposed, by the power forwards that actually can shoot on the perimeter, like Blake Griffin, Giannis, all these guys that can step out and got a little speed and a little 15-footer. He gets exposed every time with that. So I'd rather put him at the center, let him get some muscle. And I don't think Hernan Gomez is quick enough to play power forward. So to me, I'm even going to put on the bench as a six-man, or I want him traded at this point. I think his value going to be high. So if I could get a real high pick for him or something like that, or add him to this pick and move up in the draft or what have you, or pack him with Melo and get a good player, I would do that. But right now, I just don't like them both at the same time. I really don't. Unless they really get better defensive-wise, maybe by next year or so, you might see a little more experience that might, see what happened. But right now, that's the main thing I'm worried about in that regard. And also the main other thing I'm looking at is the 76ers and the Magic. The Lakers and Celtics are basically taking those first two spots. Just looking at not depending on where the ball bounces. So they're going to have the most ping-pong balls regardless right now. But 76ers and the Magic is the difference between the Knicks getting that third pick overall and dropping to sixth or fifth,
Six.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the big thing I'm looking at with all these games. I'm watching, making sure they keep winning. I hope on their part, and the Knicks keep losing. But that's the main thing I look at overall in these games. I want that third pick. The players I want is either that third or that fourth pick right now. So that's what I'm looking at. Anything else you want to add regarding the weekly Knicks Roundup, fellas?
Yes, I do, LA.
Go ahead, Flo.
Well, here's the thing. You mentioned Boston because they'll have the Nets pick, and you mentioned LA, the Lakers. But you failed to mention the Phoenix Suns, who's tanking. They've benched their veteran guys. They've benched Chandler. They've benched Eric Bledsoe. They've benched Brandon Knight. So let's not forget that. Now, the good thing about it, the Knicks are 0-2 against Phoenix. That's the great thing. They finish tied. They have the tiebreaker there.
Yeah, that's true.
You need to have Phoenix to start winning some more games. My understanding, Devin Booker dropped 70 points a couple days ago.
Yes, sir.
They need to win games.
And a loss to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You need Phoenix. You need Orlando. You need Philadelphia. You need those three teams to win some more games. We're down to the final 9 games. Only reason why the Knicks finished with the 4th pick in the year they drafted Porzingis because they went 5-8 in their last 13 games. So the Knicks need to start losing some games. The more games, the better. They've lost 4 in a row. I need them to lose 13 straight. Why not?
I'm with you, man. You're preaching to the choir, brother.
They need it. They need to have that 3rd pick. 3rd or 4th pick. Hopefully 3rd, but 3rd or 4th pick. You don't want to be sitting at 6. I think you want to keep losing some more games.
Absolutely. And anything else you want to add to the Noah suspension for 20 games? Danny D? Anybody could just jump in there real quick.
Do you want to take this?
Now go after you, Flo. You can go ahead.
Well, with Noah, here's the thing now. LA, you mentioned earlier about Hernan Gomez. Most likely, if Hernan Gomez doesn't get traded next year, he's probably going to be the starting center for the next 20 games in the season. Just keep that in mind if they don't trade him in the offseason or the trade or an NBA draft. Other than that, hopefully we get to see more of O'Quinn. We've seen a lot of Hernan Gomez, but we've seen less of O'Quinn. Maybe O'Quinn starts next year, Hernan Gomez come off the bench. We'll see. I don't know. But one thing for sure, we'll not be seeing Noah anytime soon until, I believe, sometime in December.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, can it get any worse with that, though? I mean, gosh, he's been hurt all year. Now he's suspended for who knows what type of chemical he took. I'm hearing different things. And then you're talking about he basically didn't play the majority of this whole season. So this was basically a wash totally. This is just a horrible sign.
Yo, listen, he really needs to write a letter of apology to New York.
Put it right in the editorial section, man.
Editorial section. Remember when Kevin Durant on dudes wrote an editorial in the newspaper? He needs to take out an ad in the Post, whatever, and then write an apology letter. Come on, man. Nah, man.
MJ said I'm back. He should say I'm sorry, man.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry, man. Apology.
You can't make this up, man. You can't.
Hoodwink, bamboozle, run amok.
Phil has been bamboozled. Not just us Knicks fans, but also Phil. Shame on Phil. Shame on Phil.
And then, like you said, if he didn't even try to go after Gasol, and we know he didn't try to go off after Howard from what we heard, this is a bad job overall. Very bad job, man. But thank you,
horrible.
Hey,
awful job, man.
Terrible, man.
Listen, man. If the NBA gave out an award of the worst president of the year, it's got to go to Phil Jackson, hands on number one. Got to be number one. And number two is probably the GM of the Orlando Magics also.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah, he did a bad job thus far. Gave up a lot of
By the way,
really didn't get nothing back for him.
By the way, Orlando, if you're listening, Orlando Magic's owner, if you're listening, you need to definitely fire Frank Vogel and offer that job to Pat Ewing. Let's be honest. You need to bring Pat Ewing back home to Orlando. Definitely.
Yeah, Vogel hasn't done a good job over there either. You know, he's not one of my favorite coaches anyway. So, but
Basura.
Huh?
Overrated.
Basura, garbage, man. This is horrible, man.
Yeah, you know, I'm still mad about the Hibbert thing, man. So I never got over that, man.
Took that dude right out. LeBron had an easy layup, man.
It's too hard to beat these teams, man, especially LeBron. So, you know, every chess move will get examined even more closely. And he fell at the top of his, at one of the most significant points, you know. And now you're seeing it. He hasn't really recaptured that magic since then. But thank you, fellas, for that. That was a weekly Knicks Roundup. And that's going to put us, another segment, an oldie but goodie of ours, our personal NBA honorable mentions of the week. And starting with you this time, Flo. You got anybody for an NBA honorable mention of the week?
LA, yes, I do. My NBA honorable mention of the week is the Toronto Raptors starting shooting guard, DeMar DeRozan, who's averaging 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, leading the Raptors to a 5-0 record right now. So my NBA honorable mention of the week is DeMar DeRozan. Excellent job, DeRozan. Keep it going, especially with Kyle Lowry still out with that wrist surgery.
Okay, Flo. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You shocked me. I thought it was going to be your man, Damian Lillard, for a second. All right. How about you, Danny D? Who you got for your NBA honorable mention of the week?
My honorable mention for the week is going to Houston Rockets' own Sweet Lou Williams. And a 137-125 over Oklahoma City. Guys, he was 7 for 8 from 3-point, 11 from 15 from the field, and ended up with 31 points. Sweet Lou out in Houston Rockets, man.
Thank you very much. That's a nice one there, Danny D. And for me, fellas, I picked Hassan Whiteside from the Miami Heat. And he's been putting up some numbers lately. He's basically been on pace in the East to blocking shots of 2.67 and extended streak to a season high 26 straight games. And the 27-year-old center posted double-doubles in all 3 games to set the franchise record for consecutive double-doubles with 12. As also with regarding that, he had 14 rebounds in a Minnesota game and became the second player in team history to grab 900 rebounds in a season, joining Ronnie Cycli. So my guy's Hassan Whiteside. Okay, fellas, that was it for our NBA honorable mentions of the week. Yay! And as we come to the closing of our show for the day, we're going to start our closing remarks. And basically, I want to start with Danny D. You got anything about closing remarks for today?
I'm just going to thank the fans and everybody, my co-hosts in LA, Flo holding it down for me, and appreciate the love, guys, and all the fans. Keep on subscribing, keep on listening. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Danny D, as always. Much appreciated. How about you, Flo? You got anything for closing remarks for today?
LA, definitely. I want to thank all the listeners. Please continue to tell a friend to subscribe. I want to thank my brothers in arms here, LA, Danny D. Thank you so much for allowing me part of this great show, Knicksfandom, the greatest show in podcast history. Knicksfandom for NBA fans and for Knicks fans all across the world.
That's right. That's how we do. Thank you, Flo. Much appreciated as always. And this concludes another episode of Knicksfandom. Hope all y'all enjoyed it. I know I did. Big thanks to my co-hosts, Flo and Danny D. Couldn't do it without you, brothers. Please make sure listen and subscribe to the show. Make sure to like the episodes as well and share the show as well All these things as a big help as we try to grow and expand this show. Much appreciated with that. Have a great week and take care. See ya.